that it could potentially have to do with the amount of piercings she has. In fact, these two comments right next to each other.
The piercing theory so true, don't know, don't care, nose ring theory. What is funny? What the heck? Hi, welcome back. My name is Paws. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for checking out my video.
Hey again, guys. I've got a fun one for you today that I think you're gonna find interesting. Nose ring theory. And I just know that when I say that, half of you are going to be confused and the other half of you somehow know exactly what I'm talking about, even if you've never heard of it before. I will explain everything I've learned about this theory, show you some examples, and then give you my 2 cents on this whole thing. So to take you on the journey that I went down to get here, I'll show you the video that I first saw that introduced me to this whole thing.
So I'm 24 years old and I've been trying my hand at dating men specifically for probably about 5-6 years now, in a serious way. I'm single at the moment. My boyfriend and I just broke up recently, and I have probably dated about like 4 to 5 men, seriously. Keep running into the same issues every single time I date a man, and I've been trying to like really get to the root of what it is. And now I know what you're thinking. You probably have a type. I do not have a type. These men don't know each other. They're not friends. They're not from the same area. They don't look alike. I really do not have a type. The only thing that these men have in common is that they are men. I really have been reflecting a lot and trying to figure out what like the root of all these issues is. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect, but I'm not the reason that any of these relationships ended. One of the main issues that I've come to—
Wow. I love the fact that it's like, no, it's not me, it's them. Self-reflection. Even if you think you're not the reason. Like, usually it tends to be a case of both parties, not just one party.
Recognize is that I don't think men are really socialized to know what it means to truly love someone, like love their partner and care for their partner. Obviously, I'm not saying this is all men, but I think it's just not normalized for them to like, I don't know, just like, I guess I don't know how to phrase it. What I'm saying, for example, is that every single one of these men individually has looked me in my eyes and told me that I am the love of their life, I'm the most important person in their life, that they would take a bullet for me, and every single one of them has treated me horribly, okay? I don't know about you, but when I tell somebody they're the love of my life and that they're the person I care about the most, I show it. Like, I'm treating them accordingly. Part of it that really trips me up is that they believe it. They actually believe in their heart that I'm the love of their life and I'm the person they care about the most. I start calling it out. I would be like, you do not love me and you do not care about me. Like, point blank period. Otherwise, you wouldn't be treating me badly. And they will argue and they get genuinely, like, offended. They get offended. I honestly pity them because I don't think they're socialized to know what that means. And, like, I don't know how to get it across in a meaningful way to them. Like, they just don't listen. And I'll be like, okay, you wouldn't have done this bad thing to me if you actually loved me in the way that you say you do. Like, that is not what love is. That's not what love is. When you love someone, you don't do things to intentionally or even unintentionally hurt them.
Yeah, you do.
Why is that considered love to you? I'm just like...
I'm sorry, but like, unintentionally hurting someone, you do, even if you love them. That's why it's unintentional. Like, it happens. What do you mean?
I don't know where it's coming from. I honestly pity them because that has to be awful, but like, I can't handle it anymore, dude.
So in this video, this girl is describing her troubles with finding a good man. She insists that she doesn't have a type, that none of these men really have anything in common, but for some reason, in the end, they always end up treating her horribly. And this led many in the comments to speculate that it must be something about her that is the common denominator. And unfortunately, since it's such a short TikTok video, you don't really get much insight onto greater parts of her personality, and she's not very open about what her most major flaws are to figure out why she's attracting such mean men or why her relationships are always driven to turmoil.
Honestly, the part that I saw was she doesn't actually tell what the main thing they said was. Not a single time has she given an example of how they treat her horribly. Which makes me go like, perhaps it's lack of communication there?
People began to theorize, because it's one of the most noticeable things about her, that it could potentially have to do with the amount of piercings she has. In fact, these two comments right next to each other.
The piercing theory so true, don't know, don't care, nose ring theory. What is funny? What the heck?
say the piercing theory is so true with over 700 likes. And again, don't know, don't care, nose ring theory with over 1,200 likes. So you might be wondering, like
That's
I
a
did,
thing?
what about having a bunch of metal in your face would cause someone to treat you poorly? I mean, sure, the style isn't everyone's type, but these men were clearly attracted enough to her to date her, so then what is it that's causing the relationships to not go well? So I decided to look into what these men were referencing when they talked about the piercing theory or the nose ring theory. And this was the top video I found.
Have y'all ever heard of the septum piercing theory? If you have a septum piercing, you may not want to look it up, but I'm always the last person to hear about shit. So this is common knowledge.
Okay.
It's dead ass. It's actually dead ass. Because
wait, what?
It says that every person that has a septum piercing makes their trauma their entire personality.
Damn! Okay.
And she agrees?
I presume she agrees.
It's dead ass.
Like I said, dead ass.
Damn, straight from the horse's mouth. Or maybe I should say straight from the bull's mouth. You know, you get it. And if even the person with the nose ring is saying it's true, I mean, there's gotta be something there. And this is just even more hilarious when we take that theory and then reference back to the first video where the girl was making her relationship trauma her entire personality. Okay, that might have been a little reductive. After all, it was just one video. Surely her entire profile isn't like that.
Is it?
You guys never told me how cool it is to have a dad. Like, this is a secret that's been kept from me. Okay, what? I grew up with 3 moms. My mommy issues are off the charts.
Okay, sure. I mean, so maybe she doesn't have a dad and has a ton of self-proclaimed mommy issues, but that doesn't mean trauma's her entire personality.
I have psoriasis. Not like a little psoriasis, like all over my entire body. When I tell you, my whole body looks like this.
Okay, so she has a bit of medical trauma too, but I mean, there's more to her.
Nothing normal can ever happen to me. I think I attract chaos.
Okay, so attracting chaos, it might be a little red flag, but I mean, there's gotta be something normal here.
No
Not
way!
to be a man-hater or anything. Actually, no, fully to be a man-hater. Fully to be a man-hater.
Oh, okay, I guess
yeah. Yeah, there's no redeeming that. Like, maybe give her benefit of the doubt, but that is literally making your trauma and your problems, your entire personality, and all you want to talk about and focus on. That is not. Yeah. I'm starting to see the breakups, why they happened.
She also just doesn't like men. I mean, you could have brought that up when you were theorizing on why your relationships with men might be going poorly. I'm starting to connect the dots. Now, when I first started looking into nose ring theory, I didn't think that I would take it seriously at all. I thought it would just be a good laugh. But the more I looked into it, the more I think that it might actually hold some weight, because I did find quite a number of studies that have strong correlations between individuals with a lot of piercings and tattoos and how they are perceived and who they attract. This study seems to indicate that people with piercings and tattoos scored significantly higher than those without for sensation-seeking and risk-taking behaviors. This other study that I found seems to indicate that people with piercings and tattoos, specifically women, scored significantly higher for extroversion and assertiveness, meaning they are more aggressive socially.
Is that why the woman in the video at the beginning was saying that men don't socialize? So I don't know how she said it. It was very weird.
This study that I found in Psychology Today examines how people with tattoos and piercings are perceived, and the most popular finding was that they are perceived to be more sexually promiscuous, and that they tend to attract people who are looking for more casual relationships than serious ones. And many other studies seem to point to people with piercings and tattoos having higher correlations with impulsivity and more experience with trauma and adversity. This study from BMC Psychology seemed to find a strong correlation between body modifications and people who experienced childhood abuse and neglect. And this one really stood out to me. This one found a notable prevalence of individuals with a high number of body modifications and borderline personality disorder. Now, this is not to say that individuals with piercings
Damn.
and tattoos are all degenerate problem children undeserving of love. I myself have a belly button piercing and an entire side piece, and I find myself to be pretty well adjusted and have had a lot of success in my relationships. But it does beg the question, could there be any legitimacy to the nose ring theory, or is it mostly just something that jerks shout at people they disagree with online when they happen to have a nose ring? My ultimate conclusion? Probably both.
A bit of both,
Obviously,
yeah.
even with all of these studies and research papers, you're never going to be able to make a correct, sweeping blanket generalization about every one kind of person who looks a certain way.
Yeah, that is honestly very true, because it's something I've noticed a lot online. People tend to project a lot onto others what they experienced or what bad they had in their relationship. And that holds true especially of, I don't know, tattoos or piercings or hairstyles or preference in dressing. You know, you had one bad relationship and some people are like just throwing it, going like, "Ah, of course she's like that. She's just like my ex." I'm like, bro, sadly, it is 2026 and the internet. So, people will do that. Will generalize a lot.
In the case of the first video we watched, where the girl is describing her issues with relationships with men, we know that people did at least initially find her very attractive, as she even cites at the end of the video that I cut off that both men and women have described completely falling in love with her. And when I first listened to her story, I wasn't even making any judgments about her.
I sorry to like interrupt the video, but I wonder, what about what if people are attracted to her because they think they can fix her? I know it's a meme, but you know, some people really do think that. So I'm like wondering if they're attracted to her because they think they can change her and they can fix her. Huh. I don't know.
Her physical appearance, I was truly waiting for the other shoe to drop of when she was going to describe some consistent patterns of behavior that might lead to all of this correlation. In her case, I definitely think that being a vocal man-hater was probably the linchpin in the disruption in her relationships with men, but certainly not all women with piercings and tattoos feel that way. In fact, here are some examples of super pierced and tattooed girls in very happy relationships with men.
Best cat dad ever. Aww.
Aww. What is this, please?
Also, it's so funny how they always go for the nerdy gamer guys, but this is what makes the nose ring theory so complex, because if the first video were to be enough to prove that it's accurate, then all of these other videos should be enough to disprove it, right? At the end of the day, the nose ring theory is just that, a theory, an idea worth discussing. Is it true that people with a lot of tattoos and piercings tend to be a bit more rebellious, chaotic, and traumatized? Yeah, probably, but does it make them inherently undateable? No. Some of them are. Some of them are absolutely undateable. But
I feel like for the most part, when it comes to that, it's just, for many, and I can't obviously speak for the entire Earth, but here, getting a piercing, right, or a tattoo tends to be something that you do as a teenager when you are upset with your mom or dad, because they generally tell you not to do something. They're like, don't do it until at least you're an adult, right? So you know what you're doing to yourself. That's what my parents told me. I never had any inclination to do that. Like, I can see why some people would.
Not all of them. As with most things, it's a case-by-case scenario, and
it definitely
it's always
is
more important to pay attention to how a person behaves or what they believe in than it is to try and find secret clues in how they look or dress. Anyway, that has been my analysis on...
Yeah, it's a very old saying, but don't judge a book by its cover. honestly stands so true of everything that happens, and more so, I think, when judging humans online from one video. People are so rushed to draw a conclusion, to think someone's the bad person, to just generalize it and make it problematic, right? Because they know better. They definitely know. They surely know better than the people in the video. It's something that kind of grinds my teeth a lot of times, and it's also part of the reason why some videos I genuinely don't feel like posting. Because I read the comments and it makes me sad. It makes me sad seeing people be like, "Oh yeah, she's definitely cheated on him and then had sex with 5 dudes in a week and then got rejected and came back crawling." I'm like, "Wow, you really fantasized a lot about what she did in her free time, didn't you? With zero proof." So yeah, I think it's perfectly said. It's just a theory. It's not something necessarily that holds true of every single person. And if you think every single person is like that, then it becomes problematic for you and your way of thinking and your way of being. I honestly, it's something to reflect upon as an individual, I think. It's something that we should look at ourselves and be like, are we doing that?
Been my analysis on nose ring theory. If you liked my coverage, please drop a like on the video. Consider subscribing.
It was an interesting video,
we are
for sure.
So close to the big 500,000, the big
Let's go!
500,000 subscribers. And
Let's go!
Drop any comments that you have on the subject down below, because that also helps boost me in the algorithm and grow my channel. And if you want even more from me than you can find here, consider joining my Patreon, patreon.com/thedadvocate, for early access to my videos, exclusive content, and exclusive merch that you can't get anywhere else. Thank you so much for watching all the way until the very end. I will catch you in the next one. Until soon.